Okay, would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to today's member orientation presentation. You got John Hopkins here. Erin Weber is going to be my partner today. She'll be jumping in just a minute. If you're new to EarningsBeats, I want to welcome you. I know we've got some trial members in here, been with us for a short period of time. I'm sure we got a few seasoned members in here as well. Want to see what we're talking about. This is our, by the way, this event will be recorded like all of our events are. So you'll be able to listen to it at your leisure. For some reason you can't stick around or want to refer to something, no problem. This is our first member orientation. I'm trying to figure out why we waited so long since we've been, in business for so many years, but we thought it'd be a great time, to start doing these on a regular basis. And Erin's gonna take a few minutes to give you a little tour of the site, talk about some of the key and main features, and then we'll make sure we reserve some time at the end for questions. So we're going to try to, get through this as quickly as possible, have time for questions, and get you out of here without spending too much time. Anyways, let me go ahead and see if Erin's ready to come in here.
Hello, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, doing great. I'm glad this is our very first one that we're doing, so could be a little rougher on the edges, but we'll endeavor to point out the most important things about the EarningsBeats site. And like I said, it'll be recorded in case anybody wants to go back and refer to it later. So if you're ready to roll, I'm going to go ahead and let you take over, and I'll be here, fielding questions with you and chiming in from time to time, and look forward to a great session.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. I am Erin Weber. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at EarningsBeats. For those of you who are new, I'm sure you've probably seen Tom Boley's name around by now. He is our Chief Market Strategist, and he is also my dad. So fun fact, thought I'd share that off the bat, but just want to wish you all a warm welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Before we get started in today's session, I do want to just point out that it will be a very basic introduction to our website and our service. So if you are a member who's been around for a while, and particularly if you're someone who uses our website, you may not learn a whole lot that's new from this session, but we will be hosting a Q&A session, I would say probably in 20 to 25 minutes from now. So feel free, if you feel confident with our site, you can tune back in around that time if you have questions for us. Otherwise, you can email us directly at support@earningsbeats.com, and we'll be happy to assist you there. So today, like John mentioned, I'm just going to quickly walk you through our website so that you know what sort of tools and products we offer. And one particular question that we get from members a lot is, how can I utilize your service as either a short-term trader, so maybe you're someone who day trades or swing trades, versus how can I utilize the service as an investor on the longer side. So for today's session, we're going to approach the website from that perspective and walk you through the different service offerings that we have that may appeal to you. And then once we've gone through the website, we'll open it up for any questions that you have. You can submit your questions directly through the Q&A feature on Zoom. I don't know if John plans to answer throughout. He may respond to you, otherwise we'll get to that during the Q&A session. Okay, so without further ado, let me pull up the website. Okay, so this is what you see. on our public homepage. So if you go to www.earningsbeats.com, this is where you arrive. It has a couple of different sections. Namely, you can subscribe to our free newsletter, which is sent out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays before the market open. You are all members here, so you will receive all of our member content, but that does not automatically opt you in for our free newsletter, which contains other trading ideas. So if you want to receive that content as well, you'll need to opt in here. You'll also see portfolio performance on the homepage, but we have even more detail in the member section. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So from our public homepage, if you click the member area button on the top menu bar, that will take you to a login page. One question that we get a lot from people who are having trouble logging in is, what do I do if I forgot my username or forgot my password? The first thing I want you to know, your username is not your email address. It is separate. It's a phrase that you created when you signed up. So if you try to log in with your email, it likely won't work. If you forgot your username, you can fill in this box below with your email address and retrieve your username that way. You can also retrieve or reset your password that way as well. So I'm going to log in. I made a separate account that's a trial account so that what you see on the screen will resemble what you see within your own account. So once you've logged into the member portal, the first thing I want to call your attention to is that on webinar day, you will always be able to find an announcement on the member homepage that has webinar details, specifically the name of the session, the time that we'll be hosting the session, as well as a link that you can click on in order to access the session. So all of this is always available on our website on event day. We also email it out. You all know that, you're all in the room, so you received the email or else you saw it on the homepage, but just so that you know going forward. So now that we've logged in, I just want to let you know that we do have an FAQ under our About Us section. And this has a bunch of the most common questions that we receive, both pertaining to membership at EarningsBeats, as well as the services that we offer. So if at any point you have a specific question, or if you just want to learn from the questions that other members are asking, this is a really great resource to reference. And then finally, the last thing I want to call your attention to, just from an admin perspective, is if you scroll all the way down on the left menu bar, there is a feature under resources called Manage Your Account. If you click on that and you enter in the password that you have for your account, this will bring you to a screen that shows you a number of different things. Number one, under this change account status, you'll see the date for your automatic renewal. That date is showing how long your account is currently paid for. That's a question that we receive a lot from members. So if at any point during your membership with us, you want to check in to see how long you're paid for, you can find it there. Also, if you ever want to change the credit card on file, let's say you're contemplating an annual membership, but you want to run the transaction on a different card, you can come into the Manage Your Account and change your card information that way. So you would just enter in all of your information there and hit Apply Changes. The last thing that I want to point out while we're on this page, as a trial member or monthly member at EarningsBeats, your subscription will automatically bill under a recurring schedule. So every 30 days, you'll incur a charge. If you ever wish to cancel your account, we recommend emailing us to cancel it that way, namely because if you cancel it through this Manage Your Account, the cancellation will take place automatically at the time that you select to cancel it. Whereas if you have remaining time and you email us, we'll honor that time for you manually. So we always recommend that people reach out to us as opposed to canceling it through the system, but either way works. So now that we've gone through all of that, we will cover our service, and we'll start with a trader focus. So for those of you who are in here who prefer short-term trades, day trades, swing trades, the first thing I want to mention is a service that we offer, which is actually a free service, but we always encourage our members to join us for it as well. On Monday and Wednesday mornings from 9 to 9:30 Eastern, Tom Boley, our Chief Market Strategist, hosts a live show discussing what he's seeing before the market opens and what to look out for that trading day. It's our Trading Places live show, and you can find it typically if it's during that time. So Monday or Wednesday morning, you can come to our page and you'll see an icon in this box that you can click on. I think it says something like join live. And when you click on that icon, it'll redirect you to the live webinar session so that you can join us for that. Once again, we host that on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays at the same time, Tom is over at Stock Charts TV, so you can join him over there. Now for our paid services. So, and let me back up before we move on. Trading Places Live will always post the recording on this page of our website too. So if you're ever unable to join live, we typically try to post the recording within an hour of the live show. So you should be able to find this pretty quickly after it's posted. So the next feature that traders may find of interest are our chart lists. And I think many would probably call this maybe the flagship of our service. So we offer a number of different chart lists that each offer a different perspective or approach and may appeal to different people. You can read through this page to learn more about all of them. We probably have maybe a dozen different chart lists at a given time. So you can read through and figure out which ones appeal to you. But during the session, I just want to talk about the basics of our chart lists. So our chart lists are available for download for those of you who are a Stock Charts member, particularly an extra level or a pro level member over at Stock Charts. You can download our chart lists directly into your account so that you can manipulate them however you'd like. To do that, you would click on this link here, and you'll need to copy the password that's associated with the chart list. And typically when you click the link, you'll be prompted for the password. Because I've been on the screen before, it didn't pop up, but normally you would enter that password exactly as we've assigned it, and it'll bring you to the screen where you can save the chart list. And we have a video on the page that has a step-by-step guide on how exactly you can download the chart list. So just know if you are a Stock Charts member, that's available. If you're not a Stock Charts member, we do now offer all of our chart lists in Excel so that you can click and download the Excel file. And then you're able to import that file into whatever platform you use, or else you could just view it through Excel. Whatever your preference is there, just know that that's also an option. However you choose to download our list, it will not automatically update whenever we make changes to the list. So all of our chart lists are updated, I would say probably on average every 2 to 3 weeks. Based off of market activity, based off of recent earnings activity, etc. So whenever we make changes to our chart lists, for example, our raised guidance chart list, which just updated on June 29th, so 2 days ago, we'll notate it on here so that you know that it's recently changed. And we'll also timestamp the change as well as note the number of companies that are on the latest version of the chart list so that you can always ensure that you have the most recent version of the list. Like I said, it will not automatically update in your stock charts account or in Microsoft Excel. So whenever we make updates, you'll need to come and manually re-download that. And I also want to mention that we announced any chart list updates in the daily market report, which we will cover in just a few minutes. Before we do that, I want to talk briefly about scanning strategies, which goes hand in hand with our chart list. So this will appeal to those of you who have a stock charts account and are extra or pro level members. We have 5 predefined scans where we provide the syntax for you, and you can take this syntax and copy and paste it over at stock charts so that you're able to identify high reward to risk trading candidates on demand. Again, on our website, we have a description of each scan so that you can identify perhaps which chart list it may work with or what time of the day that we think it may be beneficial to run that particular scan. So we have some trading ideas on our website, and you can find more detail about how to run a scan on this video as well. So that covers our chart list. Next, we'll move on to reports that may appeal to traders. So I mentioned earlier our daily market report. Around here, we call it the DMR. You may see that abbreviation from time to time. So our DMR is published every weekday. Tom usually gets it out around noon. It can be earlier, it can be later, just depending on the day, but he likes to publish it midday so that number one, he can identify the trends that are unfolding and alert members to those. And also it gives him a chance to focus on the morning show, which we talked about earlier. So that's a question that we get a lot is what time does the DMR come out? The DMR is always emailed out. If you're ever not receiving the email, reach out to us at support and we'll troubleshoot to figure out why it's not coming through to you. But we do always publish the archives on the website too. So the DMR, you can find it always will have a market overview. It will have a sector and industry focus. So you know what Tom is watching for on a given day. It will have chart lists and strategies. A lot of times Tom may run a scan and he'll talk you through the syntax as well as the results that were returned and possible trading setups from that scan. So this is a great resource for those of you who are either looking for trading ideas or are looking to get further acclimated with our chart lists and scans and how Tom uses those to identify different trades. And then finally, you'll see that at the bottom of the report, we always have upcoming earnings reports. Any of our portfolio stocks would be in bold, so you can see none of these are portfolio stocks. And we also publish economic report results. So we always recommend that if you're holding stocks, you keep track of when they report earnings because as you know, it can really fluctuate quickly. So, okay, that's the DMR. And then next we will talk about the seasonality report, monthly seasonality report. So this is published once a month, typically right at the beginning of the month. You can see in the seasonality report, Tom takes a look back at the preceding month, and then also identifies trends for the current month, both in the general markets and the S&P 500. He'll break down the profit and the gains and losses, what you can kind of expect from a historical standpoint. But he'll also break it down even further across sectors. And then he'll talk about industry groups as well, just so that you have an idea of what the trends are and what to keep an eye out for. And I believe pretty much everything you probably need to know there. While we're talking about industries and industry groups and sectors, one question that we get from members a lot is, how can I view, let's say I'm interested in the technology sector, specifically the software industry group within that sector, and I want to see a comprehensive list of all of the stocks that are included in that group. How can I do that? And what we advise at least Stock Charts members to do is, on your homepage at Stock Charts, you'll see this menu option here for member tools in the top left-hand box. If you scroll down, you'll see a section called Summary Pages. And here you can open up the sector summary. And then if you click on the sector of interest, technology in this case, you can drill down to the industry group. And then this will show you all of the stocks that are within that industry group. So if, let's say that's a sector industry group combination that Tom's interested in, this is a really easy way for you to find a list of stocks that might be worth considering. Okay, so now we'll move on to our final report, at least from a trading perspective, which is the monthly short squeeze report. And I know this report's called monthly. I would need to confirm with Tom, but I don't think it's published every month. It might be every other month. I'm not totally sure on the frequency of this one, but he does publish this whenever he feels it's necessary to update it. And this just provides an outlook for those of you who are watching to catch a short squeeze. So this report is founded on the short squeeze chart list that we offer. And Tom is basically taking a deep dive into that chart list to present you with some trading ideas there. So again, if you're looking to catch a short squeeze, we highly recommend checking out this report. And then the last thing that I want to mention that would appeal to traders, but would also appeal to investors, so it's kind of a segue, is our webinar archive. So we have webinars on a variety of different topics. You can see we have a recent webinar that was on max paying. We have one on preparing for inflationary data. We have earnings webinars, our portfolio webinars. We have all kinds of different educational webinars that we offer. So just know that all of the archives are here, and you all found your way to this webinar. So I think in terms of accessing the webinars, we're all good there. Okay, so now that we've talked about our services that are oriented for traders, we'll talk a little bit about those of you who may prefer a longer term focus. So the number one service that we offer for that are our portfolios. And before we jump into our portfolios, I just want to disclaim that at EarningsBeats, our sole focus is on member education. We design the portfolios as an educational tool to teach our members about our philosophy. We are not registered investment advisors. We are not in the market of providing advice or recommendations. So we strongly suggest that each member takes our portfolios and modifies them to fit their own unique financial situation and risk tolerance level. So our portfolios are designed to be simple, are designed to eliminate the emotional aspect of trading. They are bought and sold every 90 days, and we hold the stocks. We don't have stops. We've experimented with that in the past, and we found that it's basically, it's a null effect. Sometimes having a stop benefits us, sometimes it hinders performance, and it's just one more logistical consideration that we would have to communicate to members and it makes the portfolios more complicated when they are designed to be simple. So for our performance tracking purposes, we do not have stops. However, if you are someone who is more comfortable with stops, we definitely encourage you to make whatever decision you want to make with our portfolios. So we offer 4 different portfolios that would appeal to different types of investors. Our model portfolio is the flagship portfolio here. It's the one that I think Tom would probably say he often puts his favorites into the model portfolio. And that's truly the pride and joy here. The aggressive offers, it's a bit more aggressive for those of you who don't mind a little bit more risk and potentially a little bit more reward. That may appeal to you, same with the strong AD. And the income portfolio tends to be more defensive and offer higher dividend yield. So you can learn more about all of our portfolios down below. We have tabs where you can click and get to know all of the different portfolios. And we also track all of the historic performance so that for any given quarter, you can go back and see how a portfolio performed. And then lastly is our portfolio report, which comes out weekly. And again, this is published on the site and emailed out to all of our members. All of our reports are emailed out, but you can find a discussion every week. They're published on Sundays about how the portfolios are doing, what Tom is watching for. He may, if he sees maybe a shift in the market, a shift away from a particular group, or sees a new trend developing, this is the place where you would want to check just to make sure that you are still comfortable with whatever position you take in our portfolios. So I think that is everything I have on the website. I don't know, John, if you're there and if you have anything that you'd like to add.
Well, maybe one thing, you had a couple of questions, and I've got a few things I want to interject as well. But if you scroll down a bit, maybe because we have an event coming up this month, the ETFs. Yeah, if you go to the ETF section. Yeah, right. So we also, another service that we really that we offer is ETF service for people who aren't necessarily interested in individual stocks. We once a quarter, just like we do with the portfolios that Aaron just went through. There you go, right there. We do something similar where Tom scans the entire market, does an analysis of sectors, industries, history, timing, accumulation, distribution, and really grinding down beneath the surface for ETFs, at which point he provides the specific ETFs to members. Same concept as the portfolios, where you're meant to hold the stocks for a quarter, same thing. Differences are a month apart. We actually have a session coming up later this month where Tom will have the draft where he talks about those ETFs that he thinks could be worth looking at. And those people who like to trade ETFs maybe find it a little bit less risky. That's a good way for them to be involved in the market without focusing on individual stocks. Now, Aaron, as I was thinking about, what our membership, a couple things came to mind for me. Sometimes people ask, why would I want to become an annual member when I could be, a monthly member and just go month to month, which is fine. The one thing I'll say is if you become an annual member, you save a lot of money. Our monthly membership is $147 after the first 30 days. And each month you stay a member, compared to $997 for an annual membership, which really cuts, the cost down dramatically. And the reason a lot of people, I don't know what the exact percentage is, Aaron, but I know the vast majority of our members do opt for an annual membership. And one of the reasons I would say this makes sense is because we have a certain cadence throughout the year. So if you started in January, for example, and went through the entire year, what you would end up with would be our monthly webinars. We have specifically our Max Pain Option webinar that happens every third Tuesday of the month prior to monthly options expirations. And then we have our quarterly earnings sessions, which are very popular. We have one coming up later this month, as a matter of fact, when earnings start coming out in droves. There's 4 of those on a quarterly basis. Then, of course, Aaron talked about the portfolio draft that we have, the 4 portfolios. There are 4 drafts a year. So you can see that we have all of these ongoing sessions, and people, I think, like to go through a full cycle throughout the year to really, get a good handle on if we're a good fit for them. We have a lot of repeat members, who sign up for annual, and they continue as annual members. We have members been with us since we started back in 2004. We've had a few iterations since then, leading to EarningsBeats. But the whole idea, like Aaron said, it really is to educate. Okay, I wanted to get that in just really briefly. I see we do have a question from Devandra. Do you send stock alerts? We used to, Aaron, we used to have stock alerts where we would issue stock symbol, the price for entry, stop loss, price target. We stopped doing that for a number of reasons. And really, what we do now with the daily market report and with the EarningsBeats digest that Aaron talked about, we have so many ideas that are flowing on a daily basis, along with all the chart lists that Aaron described to you, that we moved away from doing the alerts. So we don't provide those anymore. We used to, but not at this time. Okay, you covered a lot of information.
John, I'd like to add one thing there.
Okay.
So a couple of our chart lists are annotated. The raised guidance chart list comes to mind. I think the strong earnings chart list is as well. So those are annotated with key resistance levels and price support. So if you are looking for setups, you could check the chart list there for that. And also in terms of looking for trading ideas, those are often published in the daily market report. Tom will include some key support levels and give ideas there. So while we don't issue specific alerts, we do have that type of information in our resources.
Okay, good. I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the things I want to mention is even though the content's not changing here, and we are going to have a new look pretty soon. We're working on a sort of a new facelift, so to speak, for the site, and we're getting closer and closer to revealing that. But all the content that people see here is going to remain the same, right?
Yep, all the content will be the same. We'll have a different look. So my understanding in discussion with our developer is that this left-hand menu bar will probably be removed. I know it will be from the public site. I'm not totally sure about the member site. We're still working out some details, but you may find it looks different than you're used to. We're hoping that it should be a relatively easy learning curve, since it will be the same content, just a new look and feel. But we do plan to have these sessions monthly. So whenever we launch the new site, if you'd like another walkthrough of it, we highly encourage you to join us for another orientation, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have there, or if you reach out to us through our support email, we're happy to help you.
Right. One last thing I wanted to mention is because it's just sort of coming together and people are going to get more detail. But Tom is preparing next week, right now, tentatively for Tuesday, where he's going to have a second quarter outlook webinar. And that is going to be extremely popular. Kind of looking in the rearview mirror, what happened in the first half of the year, and then what to start looking for during the second half of the year. We'll get that published in the calendar section. So keep an eye out for that. And I think that'll be a good one, Aaron.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I don't have any other questions that I see. Did a really great job. This recording will be on the site, right?
Yes, it will be on the site.
And so anybody can refer to it anytime they want to. And like Aaron said, if you have any specific questions, you can always write to the support team at EarningsBeats, and we'll get back to you. Aaron, great job. And we'll be doing this again next month, right?
Sounds great. Thank you, John, and thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions after this session, like I said, feel free to reach out to us at support@earningsbeats.com. We'll be happy to help with whatever questions you have.